Hello folks, I am Margie Roy of 3dcuts.com, and today I am doing the tutorial for my barred owl shadow box. This shadow box is part of a 4 shadow box series, each featuring a different owl that is native to my state of Connecticut. These owls are designed to be easily crafted in cardstock. There is a separate tutorial for the assembly of each owl shadow box. Let's get started on the barred owl shadow box. Cut all of the pieces needed for this owl. Go to my website at 3dcuts.com for the written portion of this tutorial. There you will get hints on the types of paper to use and guidelines on the more complicated cuts. Additionally, there I also have a layout of how the pieces go together. That will help you in knowing the order to glue these parts. All of the shadow boxes start with the same frame. There are 3 pieces, 1, 2, and 3. We are going to start by folding on the dotted fold lines on all of them in the same direction. I'm going to hold this together with score tape. I like using score tape because it keeps my fingers clean. And on each of these corners, I am going to put 2 pieces of score tape. All 4 corners now have the score tape. I will peel the score tape and put together each corner. It's important that you keep these square. The cover is set. Now I'll work on frame 2. Again, I fold on all the score lines. Apply score tape to each corner. And put together squarely. Frame 2 is done. Frame 3, same procedure. Score tape is applied to the corners. I'll now peel it and assemble the back frame. Okay, all 3 frames are now done. I'm going to continue working on frame 2. On frame 2, the green leaf insert gets adhered inside of frame 2. But before we do that, we want to add the details to the owl. Step 1 is to add some veins to the leaves. This is an optional step, but I like it. It adds a little bit more definition. Hold the stem carefully so as not to allow it to tear. Working on a soft pad of paper with the blunt end of my silhouette tool, I'm just going to draw a couple of leaf veins into every one of these leaves. It's almost not visible except in the shadow box light. And it just adds a little more definition. And here's one little space that did not weed, so I'll get that now. Now let's start gluing this owl together. I like to use art glitter glue. I've transferred it to this little container that has the tiny tip. It gives me great control over applying a wet glue. I am going to first glue this to the base. Each of these pieces will stack up according to my plan here. And so it's just one on top of the other, not too complicated. Art glitter glue does dry clear, so if there's little bits that show, they won't later. Move on to the next layer. You now simply glue each of the layers of the owl in place. Use art glitter glue and follow the chart or this video to get them in the correct order. Okay, there's our little barred owl. I'm going to turn him over, and on the back side, I'm going to put a couple of layers of weather stripping. The purpose of this is to help support him over time. You can use pop dots. The goal is to get a stack of something to support the weight of this guy up to the depth of the number 2 layer. So for this, I'll be using 2 layers. On a pop dot, you'll need more layers. But I just put them there, and that'll help hold that up and keep it from sagging into the shadow box. Okay, now we are going to adhere this inside. So we will turn this over. I will take the art glitter glue and I will add it to the inside of these edges. The green opening is a little bit wider than the black one, so that the green edges should not show when we put it together. So I'm going to carefully put this in and place it so there's a slight margin of black showing all the way around. And then press it into place. Great. Isn't he a cutie? Okay, now we can assemble the shadow box. We'll take layer 3 that you made before. The blue insert will go in here. You can cut this on your cutting machine if you want. I just used my paper cutter. It's 6 5/16 inches square with a hole punched out of the corner. Glue that in there using the art glitter glue. The owl will go in next. Or excuse me, the moon will go in next. We will place it, and then we will put the owl in, because we want to get the correct positioning for the moon. I would like the moon to silhouette the owl's head, but not be centered around it. I like that location there on this particular composition. So I'm going to pull the shadow box out. I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to carefully mark lightly 2 places for the moon so I can be able to place it in again. I will put my art glitter glue on the back of the moon, and I will glue the moon in place. There's one mark. There's the other mark. There we go. The owl goes in. If this was my final assembly, you could take a little piece of score tape and put it in there on all 4 sides to hold the owl back in the shadow box. And then the layer 1, the cover, gets put on. It is a tight fit, so go carefully. The last step on our little barred owl is to add a little highlight to the eyes. You do that for all creatures. I use just basic acrylic paint and a toothpick. I get just a dab on there, test it a little bit, and put a tiny highlight in each eye. Like so. And there we go. We have our barred owl, one of the set of 4 that I've completed at 3dcuts.com. Hope you go and make the other 3 now and have fun crafting. I'd love to see photos of your completed shadow boxes, so please share by sending me an email at margie@3dcuts.com or on any of the various Facebook craft groups. You can check out the nature-themed shadow box area of my website for many other interesting shadow box cardstock projects. Happy crafting, everyone, and thank you for watching.